Notice the new polos?
The merch is dropped.
Merch is dropped.
It's available. It's not.
We got a new intro. I mean, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. We're looking great. Where it feels like, well, it doesn't quite feel like football just yet, if I'm being honest, because it still feels like summer, if we're being 100% fully honest. But we are live from the tank down in Ironton. It is a pleasure to be here, one of the cathedrals of football in Southeast Ohio. I am Ethan Sargent. Eric Landrum is here alongside me, as he is every Friday night, and this is Football Friday Kickoff. Of course, we are here for the clash of two of the Titans in the 7-4-0. The Ironmen of Jackson will be coming down here. We're going to talk about that game plenty to face off against one of the best teams, not just in the 7-4-0, but the entire state. The Ironton Tigers have been disposing of everybody in their path so far. We're going to hear from head coach Coach Pendleton a little bit later on in the program. But Eric, let's just jump it off to you first. We're in week 5. Can you believe it is week 5 already?
Full stride, baby.
It's ridiculous. It feels like I just snap my fingers and we're at Friday again. I love it because Friday's my favorite day of the week. I don't know about you. It's my favorite day of the week.
It is in the fall. It is in the fall, no doubt. No doubt.
It's always great. But obviously, Jackson Ironton has a lot of the eyes of the area on it tonight. What are some of the other big games that you've got your eye on tonight? We're going to talk about plenty, but just give me a couple you're looking at.
A couple I look at is one right down the road in Lucasville. Wheelersburg Pirates traveling to take on the Valley Indians tonight. Wheelersburg has looked phenomenal all season long. We were just joined by Coach Jared Pendleton's son before the broadcast. He
knew his stuff.
He owns the place, I think, and he said, "What are you guys doing here?" And we enlightened him on what we do, and he gave us a full rundown on how they feel about the Berg here in Ironton.
They don't love them.
They do not love the Berg, but they're in action. They're taking on the Valley Indians tonight. Battle of 4-0 unbeaten squads. That'll be a fun football game. Also, right down the road, a couple of 2-2 squads. Portsmouth hosting the Cold Grove Hornets as the voice of the Fighting Tigers. Jason Fillar rolls into the tank. We love to see it. That's going to be another phenomenal football game. Not necessarily unbeaten, but another clash of OVC rivals. As you said, we're in conference play. It's week 5. We woke up and here we are.
I know. It's ridiculous. We're in conference play. I'm going to point my eye at a game over in Athens County.
I knew you
would. That
would.
has a lot of people looking at it. You've got, obviously, it's not quite technically a conference game between Waterford and Nelsonville York, but it is a game of major proportions for both of these squads. NY has looked pretty dang good through the first 4 weeks of the year. 4-0. Haven't blinked much. I talked to Rusty Richards on the Athens County Coaches Show earlier this week. They are ready for this game. I honestly, if I could be 100% transparent, and I think Rusty Richards would be okay with me saying this because he said it himself on the Coaches Show on Tuesday, they weren't ready last year for the Waterford game.
Wow.
They went into that game. This is in Rusty words. They overlooked him a little bit.
Yeah.
They honestly didn't take the preparation that week about as well as I think that they could have. That is not the case this year because, look, if there's one thing I know about Rusty Richards, he will not make the same mistake twice. They're going to be ready for this game. Will Waterford be able to match the intensity? We're going to talk about that one a whole lot as well. But there are a boatload of good games around the 7-4-0, so let's not waste any more time. Let's talk about some of the big ones. We're going to start off, actually, with a game that's not even in the 7-4-0. We're going to hop outside the state for a station that we're having on Football Friday Kickoff today for the very first time.
Welcome.
Huge shout-out to my listeners over on the Bend, 92.1. It is the Bend game of the week, and they hopped over the border to Mason, West Virginia. One of my favorite golf courses in this area is the Riverside Golf Club. I spend a lot of time there, and I know that they love their Wahama White Falcons out there. They're taking on Calhoun County, the Red Devils today. The Red Devils come in 1-2. Wahama comes in 3-0. If there's one thing I know about Wahama, they are a running back factory.
Hell yeah.
Every single year feels like they just churn out another guy. This year's no different. Let me introduce you to Reason Stitt. That is spelled Reezin. Reason Stitt. And let me give you a reason why you should follow and know this guy. How about 623 yards in 3 games? That's 207 a pop.
Should be Reason Stat.
Yeah. You want to talk about it, as my good friend Josh Pate over on the college football show says, paper pop. 64 carries, 623 yards, and 10 scores through 3 games. I mean, we talk about some other video game running backs around our area. Those stats speak for itself.
Yeah, they do, and you called it a running back factory, and that's exactly what it is. They know exactly what type of football they like to play across the way there in Wahama. They do it every year. They always play physical football up front. They've always got a guy in the backfield that's usually versatile, can do things, not just run it downhill, but can run it outside, can catch the ball and run with it, things like that. They've got another reason to be excited this year, no doubt about it, do White Falcons fans.
Absolutely, and they're, again, going to be a run-first offense. The thing about Calhoun County is they're not going to be a run-first offense. They're going to balance things out. Keep an eye on quarterback Brennan Carpenter for the Red Devils. He's got 403 passing yards. He can also run the ball a little bit as well. He's got 2 targets to keep an eye on. Gavin Hicks, 8 catches, 5 of them have gone for touchdowns so far this year. He's averaging just under 27 yards a catch, 8 catches for 216 yards. Also, again, we got some Hall of Fame names in our area. This is another one. Chase Schoolcraft, 19 catches for 176 yards and a score. So that Wahama secondary is going to have to be on their best behavior today.
Yeah, they're going to have to be, and it's just about staying disciplined. It's about keeping your eyes on your keys, not getting too far ahead of the run game, not letting backs get out of the backfield, tight ends get behind you, things like that. Just stay disciplined, and I think Wahama can take care of business in that football game. It looks like they're poised to do some big things again this year, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wahama's going to, again, they're always one of the better small schools in West Virginia, consistently making playoff runs, and this year feels no different with them off to that 3-0 start. Let's hop over. Let's stay relatively close to that area, but we'll hop back over the border. Meigs is taking on River Valley. Meigs feels like they're going to get that bounce back now. They had the victory over Vinton County last week. Now they take on a River Valley squad that's still very much a squad and a school in transition. Meigs is a 28-4 record in against River Valley all time. They beat them 48-6 last year. Feels like Meigs just kind of have to get the ball rolling against River Valley.
I don't know if it'll be rolling, but Nolan Yates and company will definitely be throwing it. It will definitely be in the air at times tonight. Make no mistake about it there. Yeah, I mean, River Valley, what can you say, right? A program still searching for a win. I think it's been 25 or 28 straight regular season games that program's had to suffer in the loss column in a row, and you hate to see that for a program, but for the Marauders, another opportunity to hop into the win column after you took a nice win against the Vikings of Vinton County a week ago. Look to move to 2-3, keep the conference play rolling.
Absolutely. Let's jump over a little bit closer to where we are now here in Ironton. First off, over on WZZZ 107.5. First off, over on WMPO. I don't think they're on this, but you can listen on our Total Media Networks to a number of these games we're going to talk about today. Over 20 across our Total Media Networks this evening. 103.7 WMPO is where you're going to listen to the Meigs Marauders. They're they're in Bidwell tonight to take on River Valley. Let's jump a little bit closer to here. We're going to Northwest. McDermott, the Mohawks, are hosting the Minford Falcons. Couple of 2-2 squads going at it in the SOC.
Yeah, they are, I should say. And one of the trends that I looked at last week, as I'm going to look ahead at this game here, is there weren't many games last week that we covered, Ethan, that ended in under 10 points. It was a week of blowouts, 11 shutouts. I think this week we'll get back on track with things like that. I think this will be a game that ends under 10 points one way or the other. This will be a great football game tonight. Peyton Caudill is doing some real things in the backfield for the Minford Falcons. He's going to be a problem as the year goes on. This is going to be a good football game.
He's a bruiser. From what I've seen and read about him, he just is not a guy that goes down first, second, third contact. That is somebody who just keeps pushing forward. And again, that's all you really want out of a running back.
Catch him.
You know, brainless running sometimes works. You know, just moving forward, and that works, right? Peyton Caudill, a guy that we've been keeping our eye on. Let's talk about this big one. Battle of 4-0 squads in the SOC. Wheelersburg traveling to Valley. We'll start with Valley first because I think they've been one of the better stories so far of the season, and it's the backfield. It all starts in the backfield for that Valley squad. Anthony Aaron is the name that jumps off the page, but I want to introduce you to Gabe McNeil as well. Maybe Neil, again, huge shout out to my friends over at Gridiron Glory, my buddy Ty Carpenter, did a fantastic feature on these two running backs and how well they've been working and meshing together. To give you the synopsis of what Ty's great reporting was, Gabe McNeil was injured for the entirety of the 2024 season due to an injury he suffered back in 2023. He's been working his way back for a very long time. He finally got back on the field a couple weeks ago against Piketon.
Yep.
But Anthony Aaron transferred in during 2024. They didn't really have a recognized running back, and it was a very new system for Anthony Aaron. So what does he come in and do? Oh, only rushes for 900 yards and 8 touchdowns in his first full season as a starting running back. So now you have McNeil back in the fold, and you have Anthony Aaron there, who's been great so far through the first few weeks of the season, and that provides you with just a fantastic backfield, and it's a real challenge for that Wheelersburg front today.
Yeah, it will be, at least with the pieces that they're going to have to defend. A versatile backfield in the running back sense, but also a team that splits reps at the quarterback position from time to time. You'll see some guys in and out as well to handle the throwing duties for the most part. Hunter Cunningham for the Valley Indians. He'll be responsible for airing it out. But like you mentioned, dual threat backfield. They're going to get all the versatility and help with the weapons that they've got tonight as they play arguably the best defense. I hate to, I don't know if I should say that in the tank, but that's one of the best defenses in the 7-4-0. We're going to have an opportunity to see for sure next Friday, but that's going to be a big game tonight. But the question is, can the Valley weapons that they do have match up with the Berg defense?
And the other story is, can Valley buck history? Right, that's the big thing, right? Because the last 11 meetings have all gone Wheelersburg's way, and the combined score of those 11 outings are 432 to 68. That's an average of 39 to 6 average margin of victory. And Wheelersburg's Valley's only beaten Wheelersburg 5 total times in the 48 times that they've played against each other. So Valley's going to have to make some things happen against Wheelersburg. The names to know for the Berg: people know about Braylon Rucker at this point. He is one of the better quarterbacks in the 7-4-0.
Yeah.
He's got 506 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Also carried the ball for 138 yards at a score. But a name I think a lot more people need to know about is Brady Doss on the outside, because this guy is doing things on both sides of the football. You know, you want to talk about Travis Hunter and all that he did at Colorado, and now he's doing it for the Jaguars. You see it here with Brady Doss. He's got 12 catches for 209 yards. That's 17 a pop. That also leads the team. He's got 2 touchdowns. Then on the other side of the cornerback position, how about 2 picks? That leads the team, and 22 tackles. That also leads Wheelersburg.
Yeah, it's just a complete embodiment of what Wheelersburg football is, right? Offense, defense, special teams. You go hard on all 3 phases of the game. And, you know, Brady Doss, he's, like I said, a complete embodiment of what Wheelersburg football is in that sense. He's a guy that shows up, plays hard every night, can play fast, can play physical, can play downhill, does what Coach Rob Woodward needs him to do. What more do you need to say about a guy like that? He shows up for you.
He is, again, one of those do-it-all types, and Wheelersburg just feels like they churn him out every single year. They have got Valley today. Battle of 4-0 could be a big tone setter in the SOC. We'll talk about some more conference matchups when we come back. We're going to step aside, take our first break of the evening, but we have plenty more games to preview. Don't go anywhere else, especially for my Ironton fans. You're going to want to hear from Traven Pendleton later on in the program. Got a chance to sit down with him and talk about all things Ironton football. We'll step aside. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniowasouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Collision Center.
Welcome back to Football Friday Kickoff here live from the Tank in Ironton. Again, Bob Lutz Field at Tank Memorial Stadium. It truly is. If you're watching on stream, you can see the backdrop. It really is one of the prettier ones you'll find around here. And this stadium just has so much history to it. It's just such a phenomenal game. I had never been here personally until today. I've watched a lot of Ironton football games in my time, never actually made it down to the Tank, and it's everything I could have imagined.
Well, and the most special part about this stadium, Sarge, if I may, is there's 3 big black banners that hang over the awning here at Tank Stadium. They're very proud of those 3 banners.
Just over my right shoulder. I'm not sure if you can really make them out on stream, but they are the 3 state championships that Ironton has won. They're looking to make it a 4th this year, and they'll try and take a big step towards that later tonight when they take on the Jackson Ironmen. We're going to talk about that game later on in the program. First off, let's talk about some of the other games we're looking for around the 7-4-0. Let's jump to the OVC for a little bit. Second week of conference play for the OVC. This conference feels wide open. For those of you who don't follow the OVC super closely, there is not a clear favorite at the moment. A lot of teams have kind of underwhelmed in this conference so far this year. So this one kind of feels like this could be a statement week for some of these teams that could jump in, and you're right there. Right, so let's start off with the game we've got over on WNXT 95.7. Colgrove taking on Portsmouth. Portsmouth, tough loss last week to Gallia Academy. Close, nail-biting game. Colgrove also had a tough loss, or 2 weeks ago. They bounced back this week. Last week got a big victory. Colgrove feels like a team that's kind of poised to make a run in the OVC, if you ask me.
Yeah, they are on the shoulders of Caden Turner, right? They're going to go as far as Caden Turner will take them with the ball in his hands on the defensive side of the ball. He's the best player for the Hornets. It doesn't matter which way you're flipping the coin. He's lights out, man, and I think that this team goes as he goes. He's going to have his hands full tonight in the Coliseum, though. I think Portsmouth's going to be up for this game. I think they're looking at it as we've survived out-of-conference play, a tough out-of-conference play at that did Portsmouth play. Now we can set our sights on, like you said, a wide-open conference play in the OVC, and I think this is going to be a great football game between 2-2 squads.
It definitely is. And I look, and the word I wrote down for Portsmouth is bipolar, because
they're
volatile. Week, they are extremely volatile.
They're volatile.
I mean, they have played fantastically. I mean, I think, honestly, they've played pretty well defensively, really all 4 weeks, with the exception of the Unioto game where
they're
just
doing that to everybody.
Exactly. Unioto have kind of just been blitzing whoever gets put in front of them. But when you look at what Portsmouth's been able to do offensively, it kind of feels like that's where they're just struggling to take that next step, right? They got a good running back in Fernando Pohez that has had his moments this year. Locklear at quarterback has had his ups and he's had his downs, right? Obviously, they had a tough task of replacing some real stars from that team from last year, Chase Highland, JT Williams. They got to bring in new players. Very difficult to fill those shoes, but it still feels like that offense hasn't quite found its footing just yet as we're getting into week 5.
It does feel that way, but what better time to find your identity than when you're rolling into conference play? It's the beauty of conference play is the teams that you're playing, the kids you're playing. You play them every single year, and when it comes time to take on the conference, that you can use that to your advantage in so many many ways. And I think that's what the Portsmouth team is going to do. I think they're going to use that to their advantage. They have only improved. I think that they'll put these pieces together. They'll use this time to figure out their own identity. And like you said, it's a wide open conference. It's a week-to-week conference as far as I'm concerned. Take care of business tonight, survive, move on to the next week of the OVC.
Yeah, and that's the big thing with the OVC. It feels like it is just going to be survive and advance in that conference right now. There's no clear front runner. You know, you've had obviously these guys in the past. They're not in the OVC anymore, and Fairland this year feels kind of down. We're going to talk about them right now. They're taking on Gallia Academy, who all of a sudden, how has the season changed in 2 weeks for Gallia Academy? They get a victory in the Battle of the Bridge, a dramatic win, and they follow it up with their first conference victory in a couple of years last week, and now they get a Fairland squad that kind of feels listless so far in 2025, and they've got a chance to all of a sudden string together a 3-game win streak and put themselves right at the top of the OVC conversation.
Yeah, and I think Gallia Academy has as good an opportunity as anybody in our slate of games tonight. If they move to 3-2 in the conference and possibly insert themselves to the upper part of this conference tonight based on how the other 3 games shake out, that's going to be massive for Gallia Academy fans. And Dalton Jarrell in his first year for that program, Gallia Academy football, I'm on the verge of saying it's back. But now you're looking down the barrel of, this is a program that won 1 game a year ago. They could win 5 football games this year.
They could. They
with
have a real opportunity
with a new coach.
They have a real opportunity to. They named quarterback's Max Canaday, and he's been very good for them. They've got some great talent at the skill positions as well. They, from what I watched them against Point Pleasant, a lot of swing passes, a lot of easy stuff behind the line of scrimmage, get the ball out to the playmakers, and it works, right? They've got a lot of guys out there that can make plays. And again, the dynamism is what's really standing out to me from that team. That was not there last year in any capacity. They didn't have the playmakers, and I think a lot of those guys just got older. They hit the weight room. They worked their tail off. They got into that better spot. And now you're in a spot where you can make those plays on Friday nights, and it's all those Tuesdays and Wednesday lifts, 8 a.m.s, 2-a-days. Those are where you get those gains from. So, again, Gallia Academy been fantastic this year. Looking around the rest of the OVC real quick, we're not going to preview any of these games, but we just have to mention Chesapeake's playing Grandview Heights tonight. That's a very interesting game. Grandview Heights has the running back, Orensberger, who comes down. He is actually a linebacker commit to Indiana, but he's a tough cookie to tackle on that side. Chesapeake struggled so far this year. They're 0-4. And then a good game, Rock Hill's taking on South Point, classic series in the OVC. Rock Hill's won 10 of the last 11 in that matchup. Real quick, let's go back. We didn't mention one more game in the SOC. Portsmouth West taking on Waverly. The thing about this game at one point in time was the game in the SOC, right? Wheelersburg is always there, but these two were almost always that second tier, right? They were fighting for that second spot. They were looking to try and get up and make those plays and even challenge Wheelersburg. Some of them have even beaten Wheelersburg to the SOC crown. I think back to Waverly a few years ago, gave Wheelersburg, I believe it was 2021, beat Wheelersburg to the conference crown. Now both teams is just one combined win in 8 games between these 3 teams. Portsmouth West has lost 3 in a row, right? They had that opening week win against Fairland. Obviously, that win doesn't look nearly as impressive as it did in week 1, and now they've lost 3 in a row, and then Waverly have just struggled defensively in all 4 of their games so far. It feels like a game that really both teams just kind of needed to get their season on track.
It certainly matters a lot when you look long-term for both of these teams. One of them has to come away with a huge win tonight, and obviously they will. But when I look at Waverly, Waverly is a team that took on teams that have a combined record of 15-1 to start their year. So a gauntlet schedule for the Tigers, and now you're going to look across the field at a team that's sitting at 1-3. So Tigers fans might be able to breathe a bit of fresh air this evening and go, wait a minute, this is a winnable game here in Tiger Town, albeit now where the Tigers are going to be in a rock and a hard place here is they got Davion McBride possibly taking snaps as Gunnar Myers is out for the night. So he's in concussion protocol. We hope the best for him. It's going to look differently for Waverly tonight. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different for the Tigers. We'll see if they can slow down Anthony Bishop, who's been a little slow recently. They'll try and get Bishop, and for the other side, for the Senators, they'll try and get Bishop going. He was pretty stymied last week by Chillicothe in that matchup, which the Cavaliers won 46-22. We're going to talk about Chillicothe in just a second. But first, our last preview here before we hop to another regular break. Big one in the SVC. Piketon taking on Unioto. This one's on 2 stations, 100.9 WXIZ and 100.1 WZXQ. XIZ will have, I believe, your game of the week in the SVC, and then ZXQ will have your Piketon feed. Or is it the other way around?
It'll be both tonight. Tight quarters, one crew, same crew, both stations.
Awesome. I love that. That's cool.
Condense things.
I like
Sarge.
that. You know what? That's called efficiency. The name of the game here at Total Media
Greg
is
Bigham
efficiency.
and T. Fred, one of each crew on the call.
Oh, that's great too. Hey, and we keep it unbiased and fair, right? Even when I'm sure a couple of those guys will have the pull at the heartstrings tonight, but you know what? We keep it. We try and keep our journalistic integrity as best
unbiased,
as we can,
but a
right?
red shirt in the tank, Sarge.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
I know. I have poked a couple of thorns. I've seen a couple of those side eyes. Some of those.
You've
looks.
gotten a few.
But hey, you know what? Hey, we got the new polos. I
just keep stepping further away from it.
So again, Piketon's gonna be wearing red tonight on the road. They're taking on Unioto. The thing about this Sherman Tank squad is they just look indomitable, especially on the offensive side. When you write down some of these stats, right? Isaac Coy has got 7 touchdowns on the year, only has 1 interception since week 1, had the 2 picks in that game against Portsmouth. Corey Braden is the name to know in the backfield for them. He's got 525 yards on the ground and 10 scores. I've got a new name. Right, Unioto has had a long history of bringing in these wide receivers and building them up. They got a new one in the building. Braden Harsha is a new name to know in that wide out position. He's got 7 catches for 163 yards and 4 scores in his young career, and he's doing that, yes, as a true freshman. So keep an eye on him on the outside alongside Jackson Ironmen, who we all know very well. He's already a threat out there. He's also got 201 yards on the air. So that team is good. They've also got 10.5 combined sacks on the other side. So tough to stop, tough to slow down either way.
I got some harsh treatment at receiver, Sarge. I guess that's some harsh treatment. Unioto's rolling, dude. 47 points a game on the offensive side of the ball, 5.25 allowed on the defensive side of the ball. You're winning by 42 a night. That's 6 touchdowns better than your opponents. Matt Hoops has them playing great. They're poised for the playoff victory they're looking for right now.
Yep.
Maybe that first round bye even. So we'll see.
Absolutely. They're in Region 15 this year. They moved back over into the SEO region, so they'll feel pretty good about where they're at right now. They'll look to try and take down Piketon. Again, the Golian family. I feel like Golian versus Hoops has just been a fixture over the last few years between these two schools. We'll see if Luke Golian at quarterback can try and make some inroads on that Unioto defense. We'll step aside here. Once again, we have plenty more games to preview when we come back. Don't go anywhere if you're watching on stream or listening to us on any of our Total Media stations. We appreciate your eyes and your ears. Make sure to not go anywhere because we have over an hour left with you here on Football Friday Kickoff.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people, all to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank, working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dan Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniosouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Collision Center.
Back at Football Friday kickoff, back at the tank. Sergeant Eric Landrum is with me. After we hear from Coach Pendleton in just a few minutes, we're going to hear from the voice of the Tigers, Jason Fillar, a great friend of both of ours and of the program. He is going to join us and talk a little bit of Ironton football, preview this matchup a little bit with us here on Football Friday kickoff. That'll be in about 20.
I'm just going to say this. If you're ever in questioning Ironton, just say you know Fillar, and you're in. Wherever you're at, just say you know Jason Fillar and you're set. I can promise you that. He is the voice of the Fighting Tigers. The whole program goes by the sound of that man's voice on Fridays, this year Saturdays. I can't wait till he joins us.
It's going to be great. And hearing what he's got to say, again, if you're looking, maybe if you're a Wheelersburg fan looking for some prep for Ironton next week, you're going to want to hear what Jason's got to say, because he will be letting you. I guess that's a good point to say. That's where we'll be next week. We will be at the Pirate Ship,
Ed Miller
Stadium, one of the another one of the finer establishments in the 740 for these guys to travel over to that. That's going to be a heck of a football game, but we got plenty of football between now and then. We've got some big ones coming up tonight. Let's jump up route. Let's just go a little bit farther north. Let's go to Athens County. Big one between Waterford and Nelsonville, York. The Wildcats are 3-1. The Buckeyes are 4-0. The Buckeyes are seeking their first 5-0 start since 2017. The last time they started 5-0, they only went and won Region 23. So Rusty Richards will be looking for a little repeat of history, but it's not going to be easy today against Waterford.
No, it's not going to be. And for Rusty Richards and his crew, I think you just focus yourselves on playing the brand of football that you play. They've played lights out all season long. You're coming off a 100-0 victory a week ago, and he even mentioned that he was going to be sprinkling in some Waterford action a week ago in practice as they took on River Valley. It'll be interesting to see how that plays into things tonight. If he joins us and maybe he used that to his advantage or not, I can't wait to see how things shape up. But this is going to be a great football game. Another one of those games could end under 10 points somewhere along the way, and they're just a banger in Buckle. Not much more to say.
The big thing for this is Nelsonville, York. When we came into the season, right, we knew that Austin Gautier was going to be the feature back, and he has been, right? 636 yards, that's 10.3 a pop, 7 touchdowns. He's been as advertised. The curveball, and the reason why Nelsonville, York are a bit more scary, I think, than a lot of people anticipated, is they've got 2 more guys that can cause you problems in that backfield. Dakota Cunningham will start off with first. He's the bruiser back there. The fullback, he'll jump up. He loves to block. Rusty talks about how willing he is and able he is to open up those holes for Austin Gautier. He's got 33 carries and 253 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then you want to talk about the most slept-on player in Southeast Ohio. His name is Walker Stone at running back for Nelsonville, York. Listen to these stats, and this is a guy that's flown so under the radar. 9 carries, just 9, for 264 yards. That is 29.3 a pop. 5 touchdowns on 9 carries. 4 catches for 112 more yards and 2 more scores. He is dynamite. You think about what Anthony Sutton could do at Athens, a lot of the same traits in Walker Stone. He is that home run hitter for the Buckeyes. They also just so happen to have an all-TVC receiver out there in Alec Thompson, who's starting to finally get healthy and get going for the Buckeyes. They're a scary offense to stop, and that defense is just as good. You think about Will Owenthal and that line going both ways, both offensively and defensively. They relish the challenge of those difficult lines to play against. They're a tough team to slow down. But on the other side for Waterford, the bounce back needs to be there. Last week, right, only 142 yards were secured by them in the loss. They were shut out by Fort Fry 28-0. I mean, this game was cooked for them from the jump, really.
Yeah.
Gave up an opening kickoff touchdown. It was Gavin Roush for the Cadets, and they just never looked back. 4 total interceptions thrown by Wildcats. 3 of them were by Hayden Jones. So they were completely stymied by the Cadet defense. They have to try and be better this week, really on both sides of the football.
Yeah, very overwhelmed a week ago, but that's also a game where history is not necessarily on your side, and I can look at that game and maybe put it aside a little bit because you're looking at an opponent now you took down a year ago. Yeah, you've got to go into their place, but that program right now is, I can tell you right now, they're on their way to Nelsonville, probably there by now.
Yep.
And they're ready to win a football game tonight. They think they can. They're going to show up. It's going to be a great football game. It's going to be a great football game.
Yeah, and Eric McCutcheon, their head coach, is, again, one of the better ones in the area.
He gets them ready,
He knows how to win small school games, and he knows how to win these sort of matchups. So keep an eye on that one between NY and Waterford. That'll be over on Pure Rock 105. That is the Athens County game of the week. Tad Steinbrink, Daniel Barnard will be on the call for that one. 2 other quick TVC hitters to talk about over on YRO and ATH. The Vinton County Vikings will play host to the Athens Bulldogs. 2 programs that really, to be honest right now, could not be farther apart from each other. Athens, again, still waiting on Daniel Heitland. He is still out for this game from the last that I heard, but it has not mattered so far. They have swept aside both Marietta and Alexander last week, and there's really no reason to think that it doesn't happen again against Vinton County, who have struggled so far this year. They're 0-4 coming off a loss to Meigs.
Yeah, I think this is the best Athens team we've seen since Joe Burrow was strapping on a 10 jersey on Friday nights, right? I mean, they've got everything cooking, and they don't even have their guy at the quarterback position, available at the moment. They're going to be just fine in the long term. Athens scoring a bunch of points, put up 71 a week ago without Daniel Heitland in the offense. They're stopping people on the offensive side or on the defensive side. Again, 48 points a game, under 6 allowed. They're doing what they need to do, and we say it every week, feels like a collision course. But for
comes up every week.
It's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome.
It's a very early candidate for our Week 10. We haven't decided anything for the last 3 weeks of Friday kickoff, but it's a very early candidate for the game we're at for week number 10.
Like you mentioned, though, contrasting programs on the other side for Vinton County. I mean, you're on your back looking up right now, so you've got to try to find something.
The numbers are a little down for Coach Games. They're still working through a lot of things. So we'll have to see if Vinton County can try and bounce back. Feels like it'll be a tough week to do that this week.
Yeah.
And then over on WYPC, the home of the Welston Rockets, they are up in Albany today to take on the Alexander Spartans. Obviously, Alexander coming off a real tough loss last week. It was a shellacking, no real other word for it. But they're going to be up for it today. And Welston's lost their last 3 games after starting 1-0.
Yeah, and a bad look for the Rockets tonight as Carmine Crabtree's not going to be available in this contest in Albany, taking on the Spartans. Corey Bean and company's got the program to 2-2. They're feeling good about things on Fridays when they wake up in Albany. They're at home tonight, and I don't know how much firepower Welston's going to have available in this game. Should be a winnable game for Alexander as you look at this one.
Yeah, you look at that line, right? We talked about it last week on the program. We talked about the scheme switch from the gap, or from the zone, into the gap. The running back to know is Nolan Jenkins. He's got over 200 yards on the season, and he is the primary back behind that line. They've got 3 guys that can run the ball. Jenkins is mostly the lead guy, so keep an eye on him and keep an eye on that Alexander offensive line, because they are, again, we talked to Coach Bean about it, the identity of what makes Alexander football tick. So they'll try and get back into the win column, jump up to 3-2. They'll take on Welston. That'll be over on WYPC. Let's jump to the the FAC. And this feels like the biggest prove-it week yet for the Chillicothe Cavaliers. They got the big win last week over Portsmouth West, 46-22. They take on a team they do not like. This has become a little bit of a local rivalry, even though they're not in the same conference. They take on Wilmington tonight. The series is razor thin. Wilmington only leads it by 2, and there's 2 ties in there, but Wilmington were all over them last year, 38-6. The first time these two schools met was actually all the way back in 19-15, where Wilmington won it 13-0. And Chillicothe's off to their best start in 3 years. They were 3-1 in 2022. That was the last time they started with more than 2 wins early on in the season. So looking for Chillicothe, there's one name to know, right? We talked about him last week, Carte Ligon, as we were corrected. Carte Ligon. This number that I'm about to tell you is flat out ridiculous, right? We talked about the 407 yards last week. How about 707 in his last 2 games? 707 yards in his last 2 games. That's flat out ridiculous.
Yes.
My thing for Chillicothe is who else is going to step up, right? Because here's the thing, right? Early in that Portsmouth West game, Ligon was relatively stifled, especially in that first half. He had a couple of the big runs late that really helped pad those rushing stats. But he had not a lot of holes in that first half. So who stepped up? Here's the name to know. Carter Williams on the outside, the receiver position. Big, tall frame, about 6'2", 6'3". He can haul catches in. They love to get him on those in-breaking routes, those quick curls, right? They love to get him on the quick hitters on the outside pickup, 6, 7, 8 yards, right? That's what they're looking for him to try and do. And also, you know, they've got some good starts across the area, and you look at the quarterback position, right? They had an injury in week 1. They bring in a new quarterback who is still adapting to the system, but he's been pretty good so far as well.
Yeah, he has been. What 2 guys to lean on better than Carter Williams and Carte Ligon right now, as far as I'm concerned. Carte Ligon is a problem in any backfield.
Sophomore, by the way.
Sophomore. And he's a problem. It doesn't matter where you insert him at, what program you insert him at in the 740. He's a problem in any backfield. And he's only going to get better as the years go on. But for Chillicothe, they do have a test in front of them tonight. And you mentioned, how do you get the other guys involved? That is going to start behind Carte Ligon and getting him going in various ways. And that's going to open up other opportunities for other people. But if you can get Carte going side to side, getting going downhill in some way, and then get your quarterback in rhythm doing those things, those comeback routes, those hitch routes you like to see, Chillicothe has a chance in this game, but you call it a prove-it game, and it is.
The thing about Carte Ligon that impressed me so much is he doesn't have, like, I don't think he would say this either. He's not
The Slark family has welcomed drivers through their body shop doors for many years. And now, with the addition of Slark's Tire and Service Center, formerly Jackson Tire, they continue to provide the same great experience, care, and quality you can count on. Our certified technicians bring experience and knowledge and provide fast, expert service with top-quality brand tires and parts to keep your car running smoothly and road-ready. Reliable, honest, and hassle-free. Visit Slark's Tire and Service at 66 East Broadway Street in Jackson, your local tire and auto repair experts.
Are you tired of dealing with
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people, all to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank, working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniosouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
Welcome back to Football Friday Kickoff. I'm now joined by the head coach of the Ironton Fighting Tigers, Coach Pendleton. Coach, thanks so much for joining the program.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to talking about your Tigers. You guys are perfect so far on the year, 4-0. Talk a little bit about first this schedule you've played so far. You guys have played a couple of really intriguing out-of-state opponents, a couple of schools that have been to state championships outside of the state of Ohio, and so far you guys have swept everybody aside. Talk a little bit about what that out-of-state schedule has built you guys up for so far this season.
Yeah, going into it, obviously being independent and having to find more games than we had in the past. I think one of our goals was to have a challenging schedule, but then to also some fresh faces, some people that give us different schemes than we've seen in the past and prepare us for playoff runs. And, I think we've accomplished that. We played teams from kind of all over. Our week 1 opponent got changed around a few times, but other than that, I mean, week 2, week 3, week 4 has been pretty consistent so far. As we locked these games in last year and kind of knew who he was playing going into that. And, we knew the challenges that each of those teams were going to give us and, where they was going to help us prepare for the future. And, I think that our schedule has accomplished exactly what we set out for it to do.
Absolutely, and you guys so far have just been sweeping people aside. Let's talk about what you've seen so far on the field in 2025. I think you have to start off with the defensive side of the football. I mean, against Canisius, you guys gave up 21 points. That was by far the most you've given up all season. But again, this defense looks pretty imperturbable so far. Talk about what you've seen on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're, a group of guys that take a lot of pride in what they're doing, and they definitely was flying around to the football, and they're playing with great effort and great attention to detail. And when you match 2 of those things up, or even more of those things, your chance of being successful on that side of the football go through the roof. And them guys are really excelling at a high level right now.
And on the offensive side, the running game this year really feels like it's been the driving force behind this offense. And it starts at the quarterback position because you've got a guy in Caden Edwards who not only is a very capable quarterback, but he's probably one of the best in the state with the ball in his hands. Talk about the dynamism that he brings from that position.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. He's definitely a dual threat kid. I don't think we've seen as much of his arm as, we'd like to thus far. And, that's a culmination of a few things, but definitely more than capable there. And then, like you said, with his legs, he's dynamic. He's, if not the best, one of the best in the state. And, he's able to extend plays and make plays with his legs. And as that maturity at that position goes and the understanding of that position goes on throughout the year, you're going to see him make more and more plays with his arm as well.
Yeah, 1,000%. And obviously, he's not the only talented guy you've got in that backfield. So you've got Zane Williams, of course, who is returning from the state championship team. But you've also got a couple new faces in that backfield. Talk about some of the guys you've got at the running back spot.
Yeah, obviously Zane is kind of the wrecking ball back there. He's the emotional leader, and he's the guy that, he kind of gets us going. And then, you got Kylan Grace, who is coming off a big year last year. And, he's doing really good for us and just understanding the offense and getting more and more involved in it each week. And Tyler Carmen was, a guy that carried the ball for us last year that's returning, that's very dynamic, very fast. Then you got some guys, Tyson Harvey and Easton Cottle, that are younger guys that haven't had an opportunity to carry the ball as much. But when they do get the ball, they're very dynamic. And then, like you said, having Caden back there is like having another running back in the backfield. Anytime he pulls the ball down and he's using his legs, he has the ability to take it to the house.
Well, let's talk a little bit about expectation. Obviously, now that you guys are in week 5, it's probably a little bit behind you now. But early in the season, I'm sure a lot of maybe some people on that team, would have been thinking about last year. And of course, it's easy. It's obviously all good memories when you think back to 2024. But what were the conversations like in the offseason with a lot of the guys that were coming back, that were on that state championship team, about reshaping and refocusing on 2025?
We obviously, we talked about, we might look a little bit different, but ultimately the things that we do that are non-negotiables are going to stay the same. We're going to play with great kids. We talked about that going into the season, and they've kind of, tried to embody that and represent that at each and every week. And they've done a really good job, even times when things aren't necessarily going our way, they're able to rally the troops and kind of get everyone going back in the same direction. So very proud of them for that. We just got to focus on that, continuing to elevate those things and get each and every week get better at, schematics and what we're trying to accomplish offensively.
And with that fact, of course, of you guys being the reigning state champions, there will be that proverbial X, that proverbial target that's on your guys' back. And it's not just here in Southeast Ohio. It's going to be all over the state of Ohio when you guys get into playoff time. So how do you think about those sort of things? Obviously, again, we're a long ways away from the postseason, but how do you think about the way that you're going to carry this team forward with that, managing the expectations, but also knowing that, look, you guys have the crown and everyone else is gunning for it?
I don't think that your approach changes. Whether you're the hunter or the huntee, you better wake up every day running. And we talk to our kids about that. So every day you got to wake up and kind of approach it the same way, and you got to attack, and you got to go out and win that day. If you do that, at the end of the year, good things will happen for you. So that's our focus.
And then let's talk about your home field advantage. Obviously, you guys play at one of, at least in my opinion, one of the most unique and awesome atmospheres in the state of Ohio, down at the Tank. Obviously, there's been some new renovations this year. I've seen some of that over social media. Talk a little bit about some of the new changes to the Tank.
Yeah, within the last few years, we got the new video scoreboard. They do a great job of, showing hype videos and showing some different things for our kids on there. And then, we got the new lights this year. They're really cool. Obviously, just the brightness alone is amazing, but they're able to do the light shows and, go from, completely blackout to, orange strobe lights flashing and all kinds of stuff going on. So it's a really neat atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're really excited to be here on Friday night. But let's talk about this matchup that you're preparing for this evening against the Jackson Ironmen. Obviously, you guys have tussled horns a lot over the last couple of years. You're real familiar with Andy Hall and what he's doing in Jackson. So talk about what your preparations looked like for the Ironmen this week.
And it's a nameless, faceless opponent, and we got to do things and take care of ourselves, and we got enough to work on it in-house, so we ain't got to be worried about other people. But obviously, when you flip on the film, they're a very good team. And they're a team that's not going to beat themselves. So at the end of the day, by us focusing on ourselves and getting better, that's where you prepare to beat teams that are also doing things good. That's why we kind of talk about it that way, is to beat good teams, we got to basically play as close to flawless football as we can. And that's why the focus comes back to us all the time. Teams that are having a lot of turnovers, committing a lot of penalties, a lot of unforced errors, those teams tend to typically beat themselves. But this week, you're not playing one of those teams. You're playing Jackson, who's very well coached, and the game's always a tough game, very physical, and it gets us very much so playoff ready.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have played some classics in the past, and we're hoping for another one tonight. Thanks so much for joining us, Coach.
Thank you. Go Tigers.
Thanks so much to Coach Pendleton for joining the program. That conversation does not happen without the man I'm standing next to right now. The voice of the Tigers, Jason Fillar, joins the program. Thanks so much for hopping on, Jason.
Oh, happy to. I just wonder a couple of things, okay? First of all, why are you wearing red at the tank?
Yeah, there it is.
What's the matter with you? And secondly, how come you guys didn't bring some of that deep fried stuff from the Apple Festival down here?
Oh man, that would have
took
been
care
such
of
a
it,
great
brother.
call.
Oh, so
Took
it
care of
didn't,
it
you
myself.
started to, but it didn't make it down.
Didn't make
there,
it
right?
down
Okay,
93.
I got
It
you.
didn't. It didn't.
I
Long trip.
understand. Yeah.
Man,
Curvy 93.
yeah, very
Swervy.
curvy. I literally avoided it.
Yeah.
I went around.
You deserve the car sick like the rest of us.
I went down 823. So let's talk about this game a little bit first. Jackson brings obviously a lot of pedigree, but the Tigers have looked really, really good this year. They look tough to stop. Let's talk about the
Had 8 different guys that carried the football in that win over Canisius. And it's not just the guys that are in the backfield. You've got some wide outs, some slots that go in motion. You get that little pop pass, which is essentially a run, right?
Yeah,
but
of course.
they call it a pop pass. It goes down for passing yards. But you got so many different weapons there, you can't really key on one person. So you got, a lot of power, a lot of speed back there. And give credit to the offensive line, too, because they've been the ones that have been opening the holes, making it easy.
Right now, not community, it's community.
I
think 10 guys on the year have touched the ball at least once. It's just crazy what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Caden Edwards' development over the last, couple of seasons. Last year he played a little bit, didn't really play much of quarterback. They did have a package for him, but he played a lot of football, whether it was at the outside, whether it was on defense. This year he is QB1. Talk a little bit about how he has kind of evolved himself and the leadership role that he started to take on this team a little bit
So
as well.
he has learned under the tutelage of Braden Schreck, who was a 3-year starter here, and he, watched him in practice, kind of worked with him during practice, and he was able to learn what Braden did. Braden was a super smart quarterback and, intelligent with the football and gritty and gutty, and Caden has learned that too. Great Caden has a little bit more speed. So he's kind of learned that as well. When that pocket collapses, boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
We'd like to see, and I think Coach Pendleton would like to see a little bit more passing game downfield. But, so far you haven't needed that, right?
Sure,
because everybody's running the ball so well. And you get these little pop passes, the little flanker screens. You get all that and let the receivers do the rest, get them on the outside. Braden Baker's had a good year.
Yep.
Bryson Mullins on the outside has had a good year. Maddox Markle's had some catches for him. But to watch him grow from last year to where most of the time he was in as, just a running quarterback, a run-pass option, and he's going to take off most of the time. But this year he's kind of grown into that. Went to and did a lot in the summer, worked with the receivers, worked a lot, got his passing game down, and kind of a real two-way threat for the Tigers.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously the offense always gets the headline, but defense wins championships, and you know that. Obviously, the Ironton defense was so key to what they did last year. Obviously, this defense is a little bit different this year. They've got some new looks, some new players in. Same Tiger spirit, same Ironton Tiger defense that is just nasty to play against week in, week out. Where's the strength of that defense?
So it's all 11 hats to the ball, and that's what they preach all the time. Jared Pendleton, defensive coordinator, talks about getting 11 hats to the ball at once. You've got some guys in there now who, like Caden, have waited their turn because they've had some dogs they've had to play behind, especially at that linebacker position from a year ago. And you've got guys like Ethan Sutton who stepped in, Kylan Grace who moved here from Hurricane, West Virginia, Zane Williams on the outside as a linebacker, Tyson Cox on the outside. You just got some guys that have learned, they've stepped up, and now it's their turn to shine. Defensive line was solid again last year, but this year, man, it's so good.
Ferocious.
Braden Lynn is so quick in the backfield. Aiden Hensley anchoring down the line at nose guard. And, of course, you got Mason Wheeler, who just destroyed teams last year. He's another guy on the defensive line. So they've been solid. The front seven have been super solid, getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, which enables the back half to kind of play, a little bit better, a little harder defensively, a little stronger defensively. But when you get that much pressure on quarterbacks, it makes it awful difficult to throw the ball downfield.
When you're that disciplined up front, you can play so free in the secondary. That's what I'm seeing from Ironton.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and they have so many just talented players all over the shop. Let's finally talk a little bit about what they're going to see tonight from the Jackson Ironmen. Of course, different quarterback. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But with what you're seeing from Jackson, they're always going to have talent on the backside and at the skill positions. They've got it again, and a guy like Ryan Simons. And then on the defensive side, how do you think they could target Jackson on both sides of the football for the Ironton perspective?
So from the defensive side, obviously Ryan Simons is the guy for them, right? I mean, he played everywhere last week. He was a receiver, he was running back, he was quarterback, taking the Wildcat snaps. So obviously he's a key. Ironton shut down Elijah the Ticket Kimball last week, who had 37 offers. So they take this as a challenge, right? I mean, Kimball came in with all these accolades, and they said, we're going to stop him. We don't like him. We're going to stop him, and they did. Kind of the same reaction here with Simons. We're going to try to shut him down. Now, Jackson is huge on the offensive line, but it's not like Ironton hasn't seen that this year. Last week, the offensive line averaged 6'1", 301.
Yeah.
So they're big. They're used to that. They use their quickness. They use their footwork to get into the backfield and make those plays. They try to keep everything inside, force it inside. So that's what we saw last week. If Kimball got outside, man, he was a threat. But Ironton on the corners did a good job pinching him, making him cut back in, and that's where the defensive line and the linebackers took over. I think they'll try to do the same thing there with Simons. Switch sides on the on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, they're going to want a quick strike. I know I talked with Coach Andy Hall earlier this week, and he said, man, our defense is young. I mean, they played well. They've given up, 2 scores in a game, and that's it. They haven't given up more than 2 scores in a game. So they're young, but they're playing well. I'm going to try to take advantage of that and try to obviously keep the ground game going. But if you can get that pass downfield, we'll see if they can take advantage of those the young secondary.
One last thing for you, and I was so interested to hear what Coach Pendleton had to say. He gave a great answer about this out-of-state schedule they've played, particularly the 2 opponents they played in Week 2 and Week 4. Liberty Christian from out in Virginia. They won their state championship, hadn't lost a game in the regular season in, I don't know, something like 20-something games until they came here, right? And then Canisius with Elijah Kimball, somebody who has interest from every who's who in college football. He comes here, gets shut down. What do you think that statement sends out from Ironton, and how do you think that's built their tenacity and their edge as the season goes on and now as they get into a bit more of their Ohio schedule?
Football is just different. It's just different here, right? I mean, you can bring in all these schools from they played a team from Buffalo, New York last year, St. Francis. Beat them 56-19. Bring in another team from Canisius and roll up 55 and almost the exact same score. It's just the way they play. And, from Jackson, I mean, it's Southeast Ohio football. It's just communities that love the football game. They love their kids, and the kids just love to work and they love to hit. I mean, you experienced that when you played, right?
Oh, of course.
We
loved it.
Yeah.
It's different.
But it really is different. But I think you're probably going to see more of that because they tried to get a lot of teams locally here on the schedule, and some of them backed out. Some of them said no. They've gone all over the state to get teams. So if nobody in the state wants you to play you got to go somewhere else. And of course, that Liberty Christian was part of the Ohio versus USA Gridiron Classic. So you're going to play somebody out of state there.
Yeah.
But still, I mean,
it's a national brand. Ironton football's a national brand right now. It is.
What I say is bring your best, right?
Yeah,
bring your best. When you come to the tank, you have to bring your best. So, Jason, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck on the call tonight. And the Tigers have themselves a handful, but we'll see if they can handle it. My guess is they're going to have their real shot to do it. Thanks, Jason.
I'm going to have to get you a white shirt.
Thanks so much.
See, white would work in both places.
Sure.
All right, we'll step aside. We've got game picks when we come back. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
Calling all hunters and out.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people, all to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank, working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southernisoils.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff on Total Media Sports, presented by Slarks Collision Center.
Welcome back to Football Friday Kickoff. Ethan Sergeant, Eric Linder. Huge thank you to Jason Fillar for hopping on the program there just a second. That is the voice of the Tigers. We're going to hear a lot more from him. He may well be on the program next week. Who knows? They got a big one against Wheelersburg. They got a big one tonight against the Jackson Ironmen. Let's quickly talk about this game before we get into our game picks. The big story. For those of you out there who don't know, Bodie Wolford is out for this game. Eric, give us a little bit of insight as to why that is.
Yeah, Bodie's fighting an elbow injury. There was a little bit of speculation exactly as to what was going on with that elbow, but I think with everything that's transpired, they're going to play it safe for his benefit, for his own health reasons.
Sure.
So I think CJ Crabtree will get the majority of the snaps tonight for the Ironmen. But Bodie Wolford not being on the field for the Ironmen's a tough loss as they drive in, roll into the tank tonight, obviously.
Yeah, it's a tough one to take, obviously. And again, I think, Phil, y'all mentioned it just a second ago, where Simons may well take some snaps in the Wildcat as well. Again, I think the game plan for Jackson has to try and be to get the ball in number 7's hands as often as possible, right? Try and get the ball to Ryan Simons, try and get the ball to him early and often, and that gives you a chance to win, right? Against the athletes and the dogs that Ironton's got on that side of the field, you got to be able to try and get the ball in the hands of your best playmakers. So I think they're going to try and force feed the ball to Ryan Simons, but then for Ironton on the other side, right? When you look at their offensive side, and we just talked about it with Jason Fillar, right? Zane Williams, first couple weeks, I think he was battling some sort of minor injury. Didn't play very much, didn't have a ton of carries. These last 2 weeks, back to regularly scheduled programming. Over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in both of their games the last 2 weeks. And, again, him going unlocks a whole new dynamic, because when you have him going and then you have Caden Edwards, right, who I know Pendleton mentioned it, he might be the best dual-threat quarterback in the entire state.
Yeah,
right. He is a freak, right? You'll see it tonight if you're watching or if you're listening on stream. If you let him get outside the pocket, look out. He can make anybody miss in the open field. He's got elite speed, right? He was doing it last year as a sophomore. He'd come in and he took snaps at quarterback, right? When Shrek, they had a package for him, and it was tough. It was tough for teams to deal with. And Caden Edwards just provides a whole new dynamic to what Ironton can bring, and it's a nightmare for any defense. And Jackson, like I said, a young defense still trying to work things out. They got their hands full tonight.
They do have their hands full. Ironton uses so many weapons, and on a young defense, that's just a nightmare. When you've got to have eyes in front of you, at each side and behind you.
You're gonna need about 8 eyes tonight.
At all times, and I anticipate Ironton, heavy dose of Zane Williams, as you mentioned, to start the game. They'll branch off of that with Caden Edwards in various ways, and then they'll work on incorporating the pass game that you see that causes those big downfield plays as well. But the Ironmen, they got to play discipline, man. They got to keep their eyes where they belong. They got to read their keys. On the offensive side of the ball for the Ironmen, they're schematically, they run the ball in a lot of different schemes, so that can work to your advantage, but the defense for Ironton's going to be up for it. It's going to be a big game for the Ironton Fighting Tigers tonight in the Ironmen. We'll see what happens.
It's going to be a big-time matchup. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's jump into our game picks last week. Not too bad for me, 24-9. We will jump in right away with a game we started off the show with down in West Virginia over on the Bend, 92.1 WVYK. The game of the week in the Bend, Calhoun County at Wahama.
Wahama's going to roll in this game. I like Wahama to win by at least 4 touchdowns. Give me the White Falcons.
I like the White Falcons to run for at least 250 yards as a team. And look, Stitt might have 200 of those yards. Give me Wahama in this game. Let's go to the Twin State League. Marietta is 0-4. They host Whitehall Yearling.
Yeah, and the Rams are going to roll with this one as well. Not what Marietta needed in this one. The 2-2 Rams have played some good teams.
Yeah, it just feels like, again, a year of transition for Marietta. New head coach, a lot of talent lost from last year. Give me Whitehall Yearling in this one. Warren is taking on Union Local.
Yeah, Union Local. The Jets, they're going to get it done over the Warriors tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with you on that as well. I believe Fort Fry has the week off this weweek, actually, which is kind of rare in high school football. But I don't believe Fort Fry plays a game this week. So Grandview Heights is at Chesapeake in the OVC. The 4-0 are Grandview Heights. Again, a team we may see later on in the postseason. They've got that great running back in Owensberger, who is an Indiana commit, and they'll take on the Panthers tonight as Ironton's $1 Million Marching Band gets going behind us.
Feels good to hear in the headsets at the tank, don't it? I listen, man, I think this is going to be a long night for Chesapeake Panthers fans. The Bobcats are going to roll, could be half 100 in the margin of victory.
Yeah, I think that this one is going to be all Bobcats. Give me Grandview Heights.
We'll do
the rest of the OVC, and then we will hop to a break. Rock Hill is taking on South Point, 3-1 versus 2-2. Big signature win for Rock Hill last week.
Sneaky good game, a signature win for Tony Love and his crew. They're going to move to 4-1 tonight. Give me the Redmen.
I'm going with Rock Hill as well. We're in lockstep here so far. Again, usually when I say that, that means we divulge from the path.
It gets there.
Continuing with the OVC, how about Colgrove taking on Portsmouth?
I love this football game. I think Caden Turner is going to be the difference maker on both sides of the football. I'll take Colgrove in a slim one.
I just buy more of Colgrove than I do of Portsmouth, and Caden Turner is a big part of that, but I like what they can do offensively running the football.
Yes.
Besides Caden Turner, I'm going to go with the Hornets. Over on BYG, final game before the break, Gallia Academy takes on Fairland.
Gallia Academy is playing good football, but I think Fairland needs this one in a big way. Fairland's a tough place to play. I'll take the Dragons in this one.
You know, one team's on the down, one team's on the up. I'm going to go with the team that's on the up. Give me Gallia Academy to get another signature win, and give me, again, Dalton Jarrell to get yet another notch in his cap early in his Gallia Academy career. Don't go anywhere. We've got a few minutes left with you on Football Friday Kickoff. We've got the rest of our games to pick. We will be right back with that and more. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
At Slarks Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people, all to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank, working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniowaSouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Collision Center.
Mom, my teacher said some kids don't get new shoes when school starts.
That's why Southern Ohio Souls is so important, honey. They make sure that underprivileged kids start the year with shoes that fit and feel good.
So, if people give money, more kids can have shoes for school?
Exactly. Every dollar helps a child walk into class with pride, ready to learn and ready to thrive.
Can I help too?
Everyone can. Visit www.southernohiosouls.com now and help a kid start school confident and strong.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County, the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change, or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track Garage Doors in Londonderry. Our team of experienced technicians specialize in garage door repairs, installation, and maintenance services. Whether you need a simple repair or a brand new garage door installation, we've got you covered. At True Track Garage Doors, we prioritize customer satisfaction and ensure that your garage door is functioning properly and safely. Contact us today at 740-596-1000 to schedule an appointment or request a free estimate. Call True Track to get you back on track.
The Slark family has welcomed drivers through their body shop doors for many years. And now with the
At Slarks Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
Welcome back to the Tank. We got a crazy audience, and here come the Tigers right behind us.
You think
They're
this one
getting ready.
means something?
Man, it does.
Huh?
And again, the atmosphere here at the Tank is one of the most unique and best ones you can find in the 7-4-0. But we got plenty of games to pick, so let's jump right back into it. Let's start out with again, another great story. Sims Valley taking on Fairfield Christian Academy.
Yeah, Sims Valley is going to get it done in this one. Nice trip for Sims Valley, but the Vikings are going to roll.
I'm rolling with you on that one. Minford taking on Northwest. This one's on 107.5 WZZZ.
Minford could come away with this game, but I'm going to favor the Mohawks at home.
Again, Northwest is kind of turning the script around a little bit. I am going to go with Northwest. Big one over on 99.3 WNXT. Wheelersburg taking on Valley. Battle of 4-0 squads.
Wheelersburg's on another level. They're on a level with these people right down here, the Pirates in big fashion.
Look, I like Valley. I think that they're building something that they could make a playoff run. They're not beating Berg, unfortunately.
No.
And look, if they want to hang that up on their bulletin board, please go ahead. Call me out. Do whatever you need to do. They ain't beating Berg today. Southeastern taking on Westfall in SVC action.
I think Westfall gets it done in this football game. I like what they've been doing. They're going to move to 4-1.
I'm going to go with Westfall as well. Paint Valley taking on Adina.
Paint Valley has struggled all year long. I think Adina's on the upswing as well. Give me the Warriors.
I'm going with the Warriors as well. So far, I think we've only disagreed on one pick. I think we're in agreement here. I think we'll be in agreement on this one as well. Zane Trace taking on Huntington on the road.
Zane Trace is rolling. They're going to do it in the township tonight. Give me the Pioneers.
Yeah, I still think the Pioneers are going to be the stiffest competition for Unioto in the SVC. Give me Zane Trace. Let's move to the FAC. Washington Courthouse taking on Schroeder. How about that win last week? Can they continue that momentum?
They're going to. The Jaguars are in for it tonight of Schroeder. Give me the Blue Lions.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Courthouse as well. Hillsborough is 3-1. They take on 0-4 Ponitz Tech.
Hillsborough is going to get it done against Ponitz Tech tonight. They're going to get back to the run game.
You want to talk about two programs that are also kind of going in opposite directions. Miami Trace is off to one of their best starts in program history. They're 4-0. They take on an 0-4 Western Brown school that can't stop much of anything. These kids might be able to run for 150 yards on Western Brown behind me. What happens in this one?
Miami Trace does exactly that. They're going to roll. Give me the
Panthers. They might run for 400 in this game.
Very well
they may run for a lot of yards in this matchup. Over on WMPO, Meigs taking on River Valley.
Meigs is going to get their second win of the year tonight. I like the Marauders over the River Valley Raiders.
Yep, I'm going to go with you on that. Belpre taking on Green in the TVC.
Belpre is also going to pick up a win. Give me the Golden Eagles tonight.
Yeah, still one more week technically until TVC hockey play gets going, but that's Belpre over Green. I'm with you on that. Eastern Meigs taking on Sciotaville East.
This will be a big win for Eastern Meigs. Give me the Eagles.
And finally, in the TVC hockey, Federal Hockey is a long road trip for them. They're going up to Tuscarawas Central Catholic.
Not enough going for Fed Hawk at the moment. Give me Tuscarawas.
Yeah, I'm going with that as well. Let's go down to West Virginia real quick. Over on THQ, the Black Knights of Point Pleasant still looking for their first win. They take on Ripley.
Not what the doctor ordered. I'll take the Ripley Vikings over the Big Blacks in this one.
Yep, I'm going to go with them. That rushing attack, I think, is going to be a struggle for Point Pleasant to stop. Good one over on WVNU. McLean's off to their best start since 2022. Can the offense, which has put up 89 points in their last two games, continue against unbeaten Williamsburg?
Unfortunately, not enough firepower. Williamsburg's the real deal. They're a top 25 team in their division. Give me the Wildcats.
I actually think it's going to be the other side of the ball that proves the difference. I think that defense is going to be able to slow things down for Williamsburg, and I think they're going to be able to win this one big. Piketon takes on Unioto in SVC play.
Piketon needs a win in the SVC to get things going, but Unioto's just on another level. Give me the Shermans.
Again, this offense is averaging something like 45 points per game. I don't think it slows down anytime soon. Give me Unioto to go to 5-0. Over on WCJO, South Gallia had the tough loss last week to Wahama. They're looking to bounce back against Oak Hill.
Yeah, and South Gallia is going to do that. They're going to do that in a big way tonight at Davis Stadium. Give me the Rebels.
Yep, I'm going with you on that. I think that South Gallia will get the job done. XIC, can Waverly get their first win of the season in Tigertown against the Portsmouth West Senators?
I think that they can. It's not out of the question. Tight ball game, but I'm going to roll with the Senators because of the quarterback question.
Yeah, I think that that's a part of it. I'm also rolling with that, not because of the quarterback, but because of who they got at running back.
It could also play to their advantage,
I'm rolling with Anthony Bishop. I think that he is going to be able to establish himself a bit more than he has the last couple games. I think Portsmouth West wins this one. Back in the TVC, over on WYPC, Welston is taking on Alexander.
Yeah, I like the Spartans to get it done over the Rockets. Not enough firepower on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think that Alexander is just going to control this game. I don't think Welston's going to hold the ball. You know, you've got, 12 times for 48 minutes of action. I think Alexander may hold the ball for about 36 of those 48 minutes. And I just don't see Welston being able to put together sustained drives, especially without Carmine Crabtree. I think Alexander gets the job done tonight. Beaver Eastern is 4-0 yet again for the third straight season. They're taking on Southern today.
Let's make it 5-0. It's a tomorrow evening game. Moved to Saturday for officials, but it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. There's Beaver Eastern right there, right on cue.
Pretty sure that's Eric Manley.
They're playing tomorrow.
Right next to us.
They're playing tomorrow.
Yeah, so they're playing tomorrow. That was pretty good timing.
Yeah.
Colgrove taking on Portsmouth. This one's over on WNXT. Good battle in the OVC. Actually, we did this game already. What am I talking about?
We can pick it again.
I mean,
I'm going with the Hornets.
I'm going with the Hornets too. I'm going with the Hornets as well.
Twice.
Again, I think Caden Turner, the difference in that game. He's going to be the difference. I think he's the most consequential player in the OVC. I think that's what I'm going to go with here. We got some extra time here. Shenandoah taking on Trimble. We'll start out with this one. Trimble really, really good since they started their season 0-1 Nelsonville, York. How about 0 points allowed since that NY game? 3 straight shutouts.
3 in a row. They're just rolling, and they're back in Gloucester tonight. I like the Tomcats over the Zeps in this one.
I think so. The last time these two teams played, Phil Fairs was a player. 1977 was the last time that Shenandoah and Trimble locked horns. That was a Trimble win 48-30. That's actually the first time that Trimble has ever beaten Shenandoah. I think Trimble beats him for the second ever time tonight. Give me the Tomcats. Let's go to C103.7. Great game. It's going to be a packed house, just as it was last week over in Chillicothe for the matchup between the Cavs and Wilmington. Who gets it done? Can they rely on Ligon to get the job done?
It's a huge statement game for Chillicothe Cavaliers, and I think that they can, but I don't think they do tonight. This is the next step for Chillicothe, but I don't think they take it in week 5. I'll take the Wilmington Hurricane over the Cavaliers.
I'm rolling with Ligon. I'm rolling with Carper. I think that this team proved last week that they could compete. They took some punches in that game last week. I think they can get it done tonight. Against a really good Wilmington squad, I think they can get it done. Let's go to WYRO at ATH real quick. Athens taking on Vinton County. Any reason to think Athens can't win this game?
No. It's just weekly
Keep it
at
simple.
this point, right?
Keep it simple for the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs, they hung 71 a week ago. Let's see what they do tonight.
Waterford taking on Nelsonville York. It's our Pure Rock 105 game of the week on 105.5 WXTQ. Who gets it done between Waterford and the Buckeyes?
The Buckeyes are just at a different level right now. Waterford didn't score points a week ago. I'm rolling with Rusty Richards and company.
I am also rolling with that. I'm rolling with that rushing attack, that 3-headed monster back there. I don't see anybody slowing them down. And again, like we keep talking about, I think we're barreling towards 9-0 and 9-0 in week 10. And it's going to be a special, special evening if that is the case. Final game. I mean, we got a lot of pressure on us right now. There's there's 2 red shirts, our producer and myself, and a sea of orange and
I don't
black.
see any other red besides you guys. You guys are on your own here, boys.
There's some red across the way. There is a good amount of traveling Ironmen, but that's about it, right? I need to go to the other side, I guess, if I want to fit in. But we have our big-time matchup tonight. The reigning Division 5 state champions, the Ironton Tigers. They are playing host to the Jackson Ironmen. This game has always been close, right? They've played a lot of times. Ironton's always had the historical edge in the series, however, but Jackson got a better of them a lot in the late 2010s. But can Jackson pull off what would be a stunner tonight down at the tank?
It would be a stunner, that is, without their guy, Bodie Wolford, running things and everything else they've got going. It'd be a stunner for anyone to come into the tank and win, right? Let's just call that what it is. Listen, man, I call it what it is. I'm a Jackson guy through and through. Don't get me wrong. I named my son Jackson, Sarge, but again, we say this all the time. We put football with our eyes, not our hearts.
We do.
But Sarge, I'm telling you right now, the Ironton Fighting Tigers are going to get done in big fashion.
Yes, sir.
At the tank, at home, give me the Fighting Tigers.
I am rolling, quite simply, I am rolling with the Tigers, right? I just think that they're too good. I think that they're too deep. And I think that's going to be the difference tonight, is there's just not going to be enough Ironmen to get it done. So we'll call it that there on Football Friday Kickoff. We appreciate y'all. Enjoy your game. Make sure to tune in to Football Friday night later tonight.
From the Ohio News Network, this is the Ohio Education Association Tonight in High School Football. Named Best Sports Program in the Country by the National Association of State Radio Networks. Tonight in High School Football is presented by Bex.
Thank you for watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Collision Center.